What is happening, guys? Back with another video. Today we're breaking down Canelo versus Saunders. I'd like to apologise first for the low voice. It's currently 5 AM here. My housemates are sleeping, my girlfriend's upstairs sleeping, so I can't go upstairs and shout about this. So apologies for that. But look, let's go on to the fight itself. What a performance from both men. Canelo came away with the victory, showed his championship class. I really think he's going to go down as Hall of Fame, one of the greatest of all time. He's absolutely unstoppable at this stage. But look, let's not take anything away from Billy Joe Saunders. He gave a good performance. He caused Canelo a lot of problems. It was a real puzzle in there for him to solve, especially during the middle rounds. And I think it was a shame. I think it was a shame the way it was stopped in the end from his corner. But I understand it. You know, a broken orbital bone, which is your eye socket bone, is no joke. And you know, if you keep going with a broken orbital bone, you can have a detached retina, and that can really be the end of your career. So I understand it, but it's just a credit to how much power Canelo has. I mean, look, in terms of the fight itself, breaking down specifics, I think Billy Joe boxed extremely well behind that jab. He was able to control distance and time quite nicely. I think that 22-foot ring really suited him well. I was quite impressed with how he fought off the ropes. He didn't, panic too much. I think a lot of people just cover up and sit there. And we're going to watch a little clip now of, how he was, when he was against the ropes, would fight off and go behind that jab, straight left hand. I also think he went to the body of the jab quite nicely as well. I'm going to watch that here. So, I mean, look, he not only did that quite well, but I mean, I think he really settled into the fight when the middle rounds came. I know there was a certain portion of the fight where Canelo caught him and he stuck his tongue out and he started to really, get a feel for the occasion. He didn't he didn't do the deer in the headlights kind of thing under the big stage, and I think that really helped him. I think as well, he did a really good job of not going back in straight lines, which is a real problem if you fight Canelo. I mean, not only does his power put a lot of fear and doubt in you, but I think a lot of fighters, when they go back, they cover up and they go back in straight lines, which makes Canelo going to the body, hooks to the head, or just walking you down very much easier for him. But I think Billy Joe did a good job of kind of circling round, and we're going to watch that now. Yeah. And I mean, look, as I said before, his style, some may call not defensively responsible. He keeps his hands quite low, moves around a little bit like this, but it's almost like he fights better like that. He has this confidence when his hands are low that you just know. He feels like he can pot shot with the left hand. He is a bit more busy with his movement, a bit more busy with his hands. He's in that good space when he's boxing a little bit like that. The problem, of course, arises when you keep your hands that low, is you only need to be caught once by someone with Canelo's kind of power, and that can change everything, and that's eventually what we saw. But I think in the middle rounds where he was a little bit more busy, his hands were low, he was using his feet quite nicely, he was pivoting quite well. That was beautiful, and we're going to watch him here throwing a little bit more and using that style, which I think really helps with the middle rounds.
Chris, do you sense that Canelo's still just trying to figure him out a little bit? I think he's definitely trying to figure him out.
I mean, look, let's move on to the GOAT himself, Canelo. Although he was a little bit, I think, perplexed by Billy Joe Saunders in the middle rounds, surprised with how, effective and mobile he was. He did the championship thing where he waited, he hung on, he understood that it was a 12-round fight. And there were the shots in the middle of the fight, or in fact throughout the fight, which accumulated, kind of slowed Billy Joe down in terms of his movement a little bit. We're going to have a look at the little bit of the bodywork from Canelo.
BJ Saunders.
Right now, the time has changed just a little bit. He's allowed to throw more punches. He's landing that jab.
And I mean, he's just so effective with those uppercuts, whether it's like a shoulder hook to the body, as we've just seen, or stepping back and throwing that uppercut. It's honestly dangerous for everybody. And his timing from being a counterpuncher is so unbelievably good. I mean, some might argue Billy Joe should have known this punch was coming, because he threw it slightly earlier on in the fight, which we're going to see now. It was a beautiful uppercut right to the chin. I mean, look, I think that it's no credit. I mean, it's no discredit to Billy Joe Saunders that he got caught with that punch. I mean, it's easy for us to sit here and say, look, looking back retrospectively, he should have seen that punch coming. But I mean, when you're in the heat of the moment, you know you have to put on this display to try and even win on points, where you're pushing the fight a little bit, where you're being busy. One mistake is all it takes. And this is the punch that we believe broke his orbital bone. Let's watch it here.
Let's see that stained right uppercut there. Yeah, that was a son of a glove right into the eye. That was
We can see the damage it's done here. Now, an orbital bone, for you guys that don't know, is your eye socket. It's from this bone here. If that's broken, you know, that can be quite serious. It can end a fighter's career if they continue on it. If you keep getting punched there, you can have a detached retina, you can go blind in that eye. So it's no joke, it's no walk in the park having that kind of injury. And it just shows you the kind of power that he has. I mean, I know Golovkin did that to Kell Brook, and it kind of gives you an idea of how hard they hit, especially with those kind of gloves on, the small gloves. Insane. But look, you know, all credit to Canelo. He took his time. He didn't rush. He understood it was a 12-round fight. He knew that maybe round 8, he would start giving him some problems, round 7, round 8. And he caught him there, and you could tell straight away that Billy Joe Saunders was just trying to see out the round. You could tell from the crowd's reaction when Canelo was cheering everybody on. Just calmly walked him down. But, you know, Billy Joe didn't come out for the 9th. But as I say, look, it was a good performance from him. I mean, is it something Caleb Plant could build on? I mean, the blueprint to a degree has been set by Floyd, and there is little flashes of it from Billy Joe Saunders. Caleb Plant doesn't really have that style though. So we'll have to wait and see, but I see Canelo being undisputed at this weight. Interesting thing though, a slightly change of topic. Eddie Hearn hinted at AJ versus Tyson Fury, potentially big news next week, which would be awesome. So we'll stay tuned for that. But yeah, look, great performance from Canelo. Cements himself as, you know, Hall of Fame and one of the greatest of all time. He's unstoppable at the moment. But, you know, no discredit to Billy Joe. He gave himself a good performance, moved very well. And I still think he's got a few good fights left in him. Cheers, guys.